All right, welcome Rotarians and guests to our Monday meeting. Hard to believe that we're hitting the end of 2017, and one of the things that we like to do, of course, is to talk about our foundation and what we are all about as Rotarians. So we have a lot of guests at the dais today. Eric Gibson, we have Neil Newcomb, we have Louise Jackson, Kathy Mikolajczak, and we have Gary Murphy, all from your team of trustees to talk to you about the foundation today. But before we get to that, I'm going to invite Butch Kruger to come up with a reflection. Tom Uhler will help us with the pledge. These are longtime Rotarians, folks.
Hi, Kath. Let's pray. Lord God, as we have now entered in the most wonderful time of the year, help us to still consider that there remains misery and need throughout the world and right here in this city. Help us to be generous in giving as we count our blessings from you. Thank you for this food and fellowship. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Butch and Tom. Butch has been a Rotarian since 1979 and Tom since 1993. Happy to have him on our team. Today's all about team. Speaking of team, special thanks to Tom and Nancy Cabot for being our sponsors with Wells Bowen this month. Travis Tangeman will be introducing our visiting Rotarians today. Travis?
Good morning, President Sharon, everybody. We have two visiting Rotarians today. Visiting Rotarians, please stand as I read your name and allow President Sharon to welcome you. From Covington, Kentucky Club, we have Darren Wirtz, and from Holland, Ohio, Travis Wirtz.
Wow, welcome, gentlemen. Aaron and Travis, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoy our program. A reminder that if you have any guests, we ask you to sit at our guest tables so we can get around and get to know each other. So if you have any guests, would you please bring them to the mic on the floor there and introduce them? No guests today. All right, for those, Travis?
Well, usually there's like 20 guests, so. Today bringing me Elizabeth Julius. She's the owner of Chiropractic Associates of Oregon, is that right? And I also have my dad with me. He's not a Rotarian, but he's a guest today, and then my brother from Cincinnati is up to visit with us, so thanks.
Well, welcome all.
I forgot to tear off the fact that I'm a visiting Rotarian from Ann Arbor, and I invited a client and friend of mine who was retired to the Sylvania area to check out a Rotary meeting, and possibly afterwards she can talk with someone in your membership development area.
And you are?
I am Dave Kiosian, and this is Peggy Clark.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick reminder as we have guests and as we have new members to remember to rotate your tables. Try not to sit at the same table. This is a great networking opportunity for you, and we really encourage you to get out and meet other Rotarians. A great time to check in on social media. Let everybody know that you are at the Rotary Club of Toledo's Monday meeting. And also, once you do that, please check out, silence your phones, and give yourself the gift of Rotary. Just a few announcements before we get to our foundation. As you all probably know, our holiday party is coming up this Friday. So if you have not signed up for the party at the Toledo Country Club, It is, you can sign up through the Spoke or online. We currently have 86 people signed up, which is absolutely phenomenal. So please make sure that you sign up so we can provide the proper hors d'oeuvres and so on for our party. And pennies for polio, we're still doing that through the end of the month. So remember, at your offices and at your homes, please use your little boxes and contribute your pennies to the fishbowl outside. And then our youth services is going to have a book drive. You know, we haven't done Toys for Tots for a few years around the holiday times, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to do any bell ringing this year. So the Youth Services Committee has gotten together, and they're going to do Read for Literacy projects, and they're going to be collecting books. You can start bringing them on the 11th, the 18th, and we will be collecting them through the end of January. More on that at next week's meeting. At this time, I'm going to invite Jim Harpin with a new member, Tim Murphy.
Thank you, President Sharon. I'm honored today to fellow Rotarians to introduce Tim Murphy, new member. You know, it's sort of a funny story how I found out that I was his sponsor. I got an email from Emily about 2 weeks ago saying, "Hey, can you be there on the 4th to introduce Tim Murphy?" And I've known Tim for a number of years, and so I thought, well, sure, I'll do that, but I'm not his sponsor. And so just to make sure that there wasn't some sort of mistake, I called her up, and she goes, "Yeah, you're down as a sponsor." I said, "Co-sponsor?" And she goes, "No, you're his principal sponsor." I must have been like a Black Friday special deal or something like that, you know. Harpin comes cheap, but I am honored to be Tim's sponsor. I've known him for about a little over 7 years. Met him when I was working for an environmental satellite company. And what's important to me is the line of work that he's in, environmental, specifically working on surface water issues, which is near and dear to my heart. You see, Tim is the senior project manager with Civil and Environmental Consultants, just better known by its acronym, CEC, and has over 20 years of leadership experience in the environmental industry. Prior to joining CEC, Tim served as the Environmental Commissioner for the City of Toledo, which is where we met back in 2010. As the Environmental Commissioner, he was responsible for overseeing the Division of Environmental Services, which performs many duties, including but not limited to maintaining compliance with all air and water regulations in the Toledo-Lucas County region, brownfield remediation and redevelopment, emergency response, sustainability, energy efficiency, and alternative energy projects. In August of 2014, which we all remember, I think it was August 4th of 2014, following the Do Not Drink advisory, he took over as the Commissioner of the Division of Water Treatment. His extensive knowledge and good working relationship with the regulatory agencies was crucial as short and long-term improvements were made to the Collins Park Water Treatment Facility. Then, in November of 2014, this is what that duty earned him, Tim joined the Toledo office of CEC as the Environmental Practice Lead. Among other things, he's currently leading CEC's efforts to develop the Nutrient Source Inventory, which is a public-facing water quality informational tool that will identify the sources and amounts of nutrient pollution in Western Lake Erie watershed, and that's just among other things. In fact, anybody who was at the 2016 Rotary Lake Erie Crisis Watershed Conference, the one that was held in Seagate Center, you saw a big presentation on that done by Melissa Green of Lucas County. Anyway, I'm going to sort of fast forward through some of this stuff here. On a personal note, Tim is married to Ann. They have 2 boys, Sam and Ryan. He does have fun. In the summer, he and his family, they sail and they fish out on Lake Erie. And then in the winter, they go downhill skiing. And they skate in their backyard ice skating rink. So, as soon as it gets cold, parties at Murphy's. Fellow Rotarians, Tim Murphy.
Thanks, Jim, for bringing Tim to the club, I think. Okay. So, as you see today, we have these beautiful jerseys. This is your Team Toledo, here to rah-rah you on, and I'm going to be introducing Louise here to talk with you about Foundation Day. But I will let you know I want to thank the Mud Hens for the uniforms. I think, Eric, maybe you helped us out here a little bit. Interesting thing is, these have not been laundered, okay? So I guess they're worth more when they're not laundered, so just don't get too close to us, okay? Louise.
This one has never been worn. This is mine. Welcome all of you Toledo Rotary Club Rotary team members to the 2017 Toledo Rotary Club Foundation Day. This is the day set aside each year for the foundation trustees to account to all of you as to our activities. The foundation trustees are sitting at the reserve tables. Is there a slide on here? In addition to Kathy Mikolajczak and Murph and me, the other foundation trustees are Tom Backoff, Carol Bintz, Eric Fankhauser, Judy Leb, Mary Mancini, and Chuck Stocking. Trustees, would you stand, please? We are also honored to have with us today at the reserve tables our Legacy League members who have indicated an intention to benefit the foundation in their estate plans, and they're sitting here at these orange labeled tables. Finally, I want to recognize our 2017 annual campaign co-chairman and Toledo Rotarians, Joe Napoli, Neil Newcomb, and Eric Ibsen. Joe couldn't be with us today, so thank you guys for helping with us today. Our theme today is We Are the Toledo Rotary Team, meaning all the members of the club, including those of us who are serving as trustees of the foundation. Why this theme? Joe Napoli's name was suggested as a possible annual campaign chairman. He graciously accepted, and then he suggested his colleagues, Neil and Eric, and they didn't hesitate to say yes. I was thinking about their professions and management of our two favorite local sports teams, the Mud Hens and the Walleye. Then I thought about our club and realized that our club functions much like a sports team. While it is a separate legal entity from the club, the foundation is the charitable arm of the club. You club members select the grant recipients through our 6 service committees process and through the Financial Advisory Committee. The foundation lines up the funding for the grants through their annual campaign, which is, as you realize, focused on year-end giving, but the campaign continues through the end of our fiscal year, June 30th, 2018. All of you are carrying out team functions by giving your time and talents in participating on these and our other club committees. You participate in hands-on projects, often with family members, and you participate with your annual financial support, without which we could not make the grants which make Toledo the great place it is in which to live and work. Next, I'm going to turn the program over to our Foundation Vice Chairman, Kathy Mikolajczak, who's going to show and discuss with you the results of our team efforts.
Hi. We have prepared a video, and we're going to be featuring 4 grant recipients from the 2016-2017 year. The 4 that you're going to see more information on are the Easter Seals of Northern Ohio from the Disability Services Committee. We granted them $2,720 for the purchase of games and educational items tailored to individuals in the speech and language program. We're also going to show the Nature's Nursery. That came from the Community Service Committee in the amount of $8,000 for construction and renovation of the outdoor wildlife rehabilitation and education animal ambassador enclosures. Also, the Autism Academy of Learning from the Youth Services Committee in the amount of $10,000 for the purchase and installation of new playground equipment. And then MESA from the International Services Committee in the amount of $10,000 for the warehouse day in October. So we'll play that video now.
Teamwork divides the task and multiplies the success. It's wisdom Rotarians not only understand, but demonstrate in our community every year.
There's so much good that we do in the world. This is such a great way to give back to our community.
This past year alone, the Rotary Club of Toledo has awarded grants of more than $230,000 to make daily life better for not only people and animals in our region, but for some people in other parts of the world.
It takes a team to carry out our community projects.
We begin with a visit to Easter Seals, Northern Ohio. For nearly 100 years, they have provided programs to help not only children with disabilities, but adults as well.
Easter Seals helps ensure that individuals with disabilities can live, learn, play, and work in our communities.
Individuals like children with special speech and language needs. A Toledo Rotary Foundation grant of $2,700 provided testing and therapy materials like games and workbooks. The Speech and Language Program assesses each child's need and tailors custom therapy for each unique need.
As we like to say in our world, it takes a community, or in this case, it takes a team of individuals and organizations and schools and professionals who are really dedicated to the progress of that individual child. And we all work on what we call an individual plan of care. But that individual plan of care is really the prescription for that particular child to do their best. But we involve therapists and family members and teachers from their schools and other organizations because we're all working with this one child to help them become whatever they can become.
Another team doing great things in the Toledo area, Nature's Nursery.
We are a wildlife rehabilitator and community educator for wildlife and conservation. Been around since 1989, and we've been here at the Blue Creek Metro Park since 2005.
The Wildlife Rehab Facility received $8,000 from the Toledo Rotary Club Foundation to build new outdoor enclosures and renovate older structures. This will allow Nature's Nursery to help many more injured foxes and birds, including songbirds and raptors.
Our founder, Deb Cooper, was an educator with the zoo. People were calling the zoo saying they had injured animals and would the zoo take care of them, and the zoo doesn't do wildlife rehabilitation. So Deb saw that there was a need, filled out the proper federal and state paperwork and permitting, and started doing it out of her home. The first year, 150 animals. The next year, 400 animals. The year after that, 500, 600, and this year we had a record year of over 2,800 animals and counting.
Private donations are essential because Nature's Nursery gets no federal funding.
Animal people are wonderful. They are generous in spirit, generous in time, and since we've been doing a lot more of promotion of who we are, getting on TV, getting in the paper, a lot more people know who we are. So therefore they know when they find an animal what to do, or their friend knows what to do.
The team at Autism Academy of Learning is using their $10,000 foundation grant outdoors as well for new playground equipment. Ordinary recreation and movement is therapeutic and soothing for students here.
Some of our students, they require a lot of sensory input, and one of those areas that they can fulfill that need is like through swinging or just the motion of like shooting basketballs, just playing catch or going down a slide.
The Autism Academy serves students with spectrum disorders in small classrooms, giving them the attention they need to learn everything from academics to daily living skills. The playground is a need that benefits the school every day, but state funding couldn't cover.
Reaching out to like the Rotary to kind of have a designated fund that we can say, all right, well, this amount of money is strictly for the playground, help ease the burden and know that we could have a playground for these students who benefit greatly.
Finally, an organization familiar to Rotary members, MESA, short for Medical Equipment and Supplies Abroad. Familiar because MESA is an organization founded by Rotary District 6600.
And it's sponsored by all the Rotarians in the district, and automatically every Rotarian in the district is a member. What we do is we collect and distribute medical supplies primarily to Central America, but we've sent them as far as Nigeria and Mongolia.
The medical equipment saves lives. This year, instead of a specific project, the Toledo Rotary Foundation's $10,000 grant supports operational needs, warehousing expenses, and shipping of 40-foot containers packed full of used medical gear, supplies that are a godsend to people living in disadvantaged areas.
When you actually see the intense need for medical supplies, equipment, the very poor areas of the world where they absolutely have nothing, and our used materials and equipment are just a godsend to those people when basically there's nothing there.
It's a critical recycling mission Mesa has been doing for 30 years, and Rotary Club members in Toledo are part of that global team.
We are, in fact, Rotary International, and this is our chance to support international causes.
When individuals get involved with philanthropy and giving outside of themselves, they can set the world on fire with the amount of things that can happen with those gifts. And that's what the beauty of having a Rotary Foundation is all about. You can help your local world, you can help the world at large, you can help out those special committees that every Rotary likes to have and the ambitions that are set aside to be able to do those things. And that's why when you're a Rotarian and you're involved at that level, it gives you a little bit of extra meaning because you're part of that. You get to be part of that giving from your own heart, and then watching what your own local foundation can do is a great gift. And that's why it makes it fun to be a Rotarian.
On behalf of Mesa, thank you, Toledo Rotary Foundation.
Thank you, Toledo Rotary Foundation.
The core of Rotary is really giving back to our community, and it's also networking with like-minded individuals. Where else can you go in our community and be a member of 430 plus leaders in your community, where you can share ideas and you can come together, you can connect, you can inspire, and in the end, we'll transform our community with our foundation work.
On behalf of Nature's Nursery, thank you, Toledo Rotary Foundation.
On behalf of the children served by Easter Seals, we truly want to thank the Toledo Rotary Foundation.
Club dues are one thing, and the foundation contributions are another thing.
And it's a critical distinction. Our day-to-day club operation, including Monday programming, is funded by your dues. But on any given Monday, the checks we present to a deserving organization are written by your foundation.
On behalf of the foundation, thank you, Rotarians, for your very generous support.
No member of a crew is praised for the rugged individuality of his rowing. That's why we, as Toledo Rotarians, all pull in the same direction.
On behalf of the Toledo Rotary Club Foundation, thank you, Rotarians, for your support.
And thanks go out to Phil Marcy and Allied Media for preparing this video for us. There's a yellow sheet on each table that outlines all the grants that were awarded in the 2016-17 year for your review. And I'd just like to summarize that sheet quickly for everyone. The Community Service Committee awarded 10 grants totaling $76,360. Disability Service Committee awarded 5 grants totaling $24,680. International Services awarded 4 grants totaling $35,000. Youth Services, 9 grants totaling $74,052. Vocational Services awarded 1 grant for $9,970. New Member Committee awarded 2 grants totaling $10,000 for a grand total this year, as you saw, of $230,062. So thank you all for your generous support. We couldn't have done it without you. And next, Gary Murphy will present the financial position of the foundation. Thank you.
If you'll refer to the blue sheets on your table, I'll briefly review the financial position of your foundation as of 6/30/17 per our just completed audit. We'll start with the financial summary at the top of the page, year ended 6/30/17. Our board has suggested that We maintain $10,000 in our office for day-to-day operations. As you'll see on our sheet, that number looks like $20,800. That is because we had credit card dues collections and Rotary International and district dues that were collected about that time. Very shortly after 6:30, that money was sent over to the Toledo Community Foundation to get us back to the $10,000 limit. The $668,000 you see on your sheet represents our share of the Christian Ritter funds, which are perpetual trusts unusable by us other than for the interest earned from them. They are permanently restricted, so we do not touch them other than the interest. At the bottom of the page are listed the funds held at the Toledo Community Foundation. The Centennial, our unrestricted, our Partners in Education, and transformational funds totaling $3,330,235.42 as of 6/30/17. Turning the page over to the financial activity for the year ended 6/30 side of the page, you'll see the $66,376 was realized from the matching grant from March Matchness. It will not be repeated this year. The $31,000 was derived as investment income, and the $43,000 represents growth in the Christian Ritter funds due to our bold stock market this year. In the expense categories, you can see that even though we approved grants of $230,000, we only gave out $99,198. There's always a lag between our grants, when our grants are awarded, and when the funds are distributed. For example, in the third cycle of grants awarded in May of 2017 of $109,163.73, none of those monies were awarded prior to 6/30/17. Each year, our club board budgets for 501c3 distribution amounts. We hope to be able to match our $230,000 available for distribution next year, but we need your help to ensure that we can do that. To discuss that, I'm turning the meeting back over to Chairman Louise.
So to summarize what our other activities are this year. Number one, we inaugurated a page in the Spoke which features the foundation with articles about gifts received, grant recipients, and ways to make non-cash gifts to the foundation. Secondly, one grant recipient speaks each month at our luncheon meeting about how their charity used our grant. Third, we have ramped up our efforts to make our Legacy League more visible. Frankly, major lifetime gifts and gifts you make through your estate plans are probably the only real way to grow our endowment fund and thereby grow our annual community grant funds. We received an unexpected grant of $91,000 from the Rachel Merrill Charitable Trust. We ask our Legacy League members to be here today. So as I say your names, I want to recognize you because your contributions are really important to us. I hope I haven't missed anybody. Brad and Julie Rubini, Eric Fankhauser, Helen Balanis, Reg Jackson, Tom Backhoff, Tom Klein, and George Eistetter. George, would you introduce your wife? Would you introduce your wife? Hi. Did I overlook anybody? Yes. I'm sorry. Oh, Brent Kuzno? And And I see Bev McBride, and Gary's not with you today, I take it. And then our esteemed chairman of our esteemed president of our club, Sharon Skilleter. So the fourth effort that we had undergoing this year, we transferred our endowments funds to the Toledo Community Foundation in July 2016. So Tom Backoff has chaired the foundation's investment committee, and that was the committee that really has continuously worked to make sure that transition is smooth. You know, there are always you make a major change like this, a lot of details that need to be worked out. So Tom was overseeing that. He also continues to oversee with the committee the investment of those funds, the use of our funds, and we get quarterly reports on that, and he reports back to the foundation trustees. Fifth, our charitable focus has changed from the time we incorporated the foundations in 2000. Our purposes include helping kids, the disabled, and other disadvantaged citizens in our local and international communities, and promoting social and economic development throughout the world, including vocational assistance. Looking more closely at the purposes of our foundation, as set out in the Articles of Incorporation, there are a couple of charitable purposes listed there that really have not been a focus of ours that I can recall, and I think I've been here about 8 years. One of them being focused on helping the elderly. But a big one is missing because it's relatively new, and that is our Water Service Committee. So that's a new function, that new charitable purpose that we've been engaging in this year. So we were going to request the club to review and make changes in the charitable purpose clauses in our articles. Okay, finally, coming to the end. It takes a team. It takes good leadership. It takes a supportive staff, and it takes dedicated players who are willing to use their time and talents and to provide the necessary financial support to carry out our charitable activities as Toledo Rotarians. We are the Toledo Rotary team. Go team! So to give us further encouragement, I've asked one of our annual campaign chairman, Neil Newcomb, to close us out today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. First and foremost, thanks to Kathy. You approved my 90-minute PowerPoint presentation that I'm about to start here in a second. Anytime you guys want to roll that, feel free. No, I'm kidding. It won't be 90 minutes, I promise. Just real quickly, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to continue to provide a reminder to each and every one of us in the room today regarding the Toledo Rotary Club Foundation campaign. Nearly 80% of club members participated in financial support of this campaign last year. That resulted in the numbers that Louise and Gary and everyone's talked about here on the yellow sheet, $230,000 in grants being awarded. Actually, this amount was one of the largest in the club history, something that we should all be proud of. And just imagine for a second the good we could do if we were able to increase that participation to 100%. I don't think it's out of realm. I think there's a possibility. There's definitely the opportunity to get to that. As we sit here today, we're actually currently at 52% participation, which compared to a year ago, we were at 36%. So kudos to everybody for stepping up and contributing early and contributing to the fund. And no matter what your contribution might be, it's greatly appreciated and welcomed by everyone. As you just saw in the video that ran a few minutes ago, your dollars are making a difference. As a relative newer member of Rotary, I was unsure of exactly how some of these dollars were used and who benefited from the generosity. But I've seen firsthand as a volunteer on the Community Service Committee of what we do and the difference that it can make. Saturday night at the Walleye game, I was able to actually run into Steve, the executive director there from Nature's Nursery. And I can tell you, I never met a person so excited at the generosity and the excitement to get one of those big oversized checks, Gary Murphy, that he is going to be here in the near future to get. So he was very, very excited and looks forward to that. So I'll just leave real quickly. As a successful team is never made up of a group of players with just a mindset of I, me, or mine. Successful teams are those who approach the goal at hand with an attitude of we, us, and ours. We all have the opportunity to make a difference. Now is the time for all of us to participate and contribute to the Toledo Rotary Club Foundation in order to continue to helping make a positive change in our community. With that, best wishes to all of you this holiday season. This is not a shameless plug for the walleye and the mud hens, but hopefully we'll see you at a game in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Certainly, this is an opportunity for any questions. If you have any questions, can you come to the mic? Louise will answer any questions you might have. Well, and we're all going to participate. This is all good. This is great. Louise.
I thought I was so thorough I wasn't going to have any questions, but okay. Yeah, you're looking at your papers. I hope you don't have all questions on there.
No, just a simple one. The charitable funds, what sort of interest is earned on those on an annual basis?
Well, I can't really give you a percentage. I can show you the amount you see. Okay, in the column side B of this blue statement, we show interest and dividends of about $33,000 that we've earned to date through June 30th, 2017. And then also, you have to consider, we have really been lucky with the stock market this year. We have earned, and our assets have appreciated both in the sale of securities and in pure fair market value driven up by the stock market, $228,000 in value in those funds. So I'm not going to go into the detail, but when we do a budget, we give a budget to the Toledo Community Foundation showing the amount of grants that we are budgeting for the current fiscal year. And part of that calculation is based on an average of the fair market values of our funds over the years. So, anybody else got a question? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Louise. Certainly, many thanks to your foundation for all the great work that they do, and many thanks to the Legacy League people who came today. And Bev, great to see you. Gary said he couldn't be here today, so wonderful to have you with us here today. It's really important that we all participate, so even if you can just give $20, it's participation. We really are shooting for 100%. I really want to take a quick moment, though. We have a gentleman who does these videos for us every single year out of the generosity of his heart. So, Phil, will you please stand and be recognized for the work that you do for us? We really appreciate it, Phil. One of the things that I was remiss in telling you folks about the holiday party, thank God I've got Kathy up here, my right-hand person, is that after the party last year, it would just happen, we all kind of stayed around, got together, and went to dinner. And we're going to be doing that. That's available to us again this year, only at the Toledo Country Club. They do need to know if you want to participate. So if you're coming to the holiday party and you just want to hang out and participate for dinner, there is reciprocity between the clubs, so if you belong to another country club, you can sign your bill to your account at your other country club. But Kathy does need to know so that the club can make preparations for us. So if you're, want to hang out for the rest of the evening after our holiday party, we'll just hang out and have dinner together, or just some fellow networking, a little bit of fa-la-la. But just let Kathy in the office know so that they can make preparations for us today. Must know today, she says. Okay, next week we have a market outlook by Paul Eck from PIMCO. So that'll be going on next week. We have two meetings today. One is disability service in the North Cape room. Your foundation trustees will meet again right after here in the Waynesfield room. And Chuck, do we have a chuckle today? I know we're ending early, but it gives you extra time, Chuck.
Are we? There we go. Pan American World Airways, commonly known as Pan Am, was the principal and largest international carrier in the United States from 1927 until its collapse on this date in 1991. A Pan Am 727 flight crew that was waiting for start clearance in Munich overheard the following pilot-to-ground control exchange. A Lufthansa pilot, Boden, was ist der Understartspiel sieht, which in English is ground, what is our clearance time? After no response, the Lufthansa pilot again, Boden, was ist der Understartspiel sieht? Ground control responded, if you want your answer, you must speak in English. The Lufthansa pilot, I am a German, flying a German airplane in Germany. Why must I speak English? An unknown voice from another plane replied in a beautiful British accent, because you lost the bloody war.
Well, thank you, Chuck. Well, thank you to everybody today for this great presentation. Again, holiday party this Friday. Be there. And if you want to stay for dinner, let the office know today so we can make preparations for it. And I encourage you to go out today and make a difference in somebody's life. We are adjourned.